Hello, and welcome back to On the Floor with me, your host, Miracle, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Personality or Population Me. My brain is fried. Hi, coming back from work. Hello, and we are here again, and I am wearing my school shirt because it is that time of year. It is August, whatever, I don't know what the date is anymore. It is the 22nd, August 22nd and school starts for a lot of colleges and probably, CPS or whatever, Chicago Public Schools, starts next week. So I'm repping my school because I just did laundry. So yeah, but school starts next week. So I'm repping my school. And this kind of got me thinking because a lot of people I know obviously graduated. Woohoo, yay, rolling out big boy jobs or big girl jobs. And I was just thinking about how I only got a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. Hello, if you're new here. I'm no longer new grad of mechanical engineering, working in a tech consultant company in the city of Chicago. Hi, I'm hybrid, work from home, whatever, the whole shebang. And really, I'm just glad to be done with my school, but really just school in general. But every day is just a learning experience in my work, but that's not why we're here. We're here, or the reason why I put this camera on was because I want to talk about why I kind of didn't choose to do a master's degree or why I didn't go for a more prestigious degree than a bachelor's because, maybe 20 years ago, a bachelor's degree is so big, so powerful, you can go anywhere with it. But now it is kind of looking more like the norm. It's like your associates if people didn't like associates. I don't know. But we all know what the tech industry is kind of doing to all of us. It is kind of showing us that we're no longer worthy of our degrees or our majors or experiences, and now we must go for what the big boys up top, the billionaires, the one who own the big companies, and listen to them as they say, you no longer should work like for a wage. You should work for free. You should work for non-paying internships. You should go get experience from my company and I'll take all your work and I'll literally use it as my own and you get no credit. There is no personal experience in that. I'm on the internet too much, clearly. But all this to say, one of the major things people are really coming up talking about with the layoffs and people looking for jobs, and everyone is kind of struggling if you don't already have a good job, right? Or if you're looking for a better job, right? They always talk about going back to school and just getting a higher education, higher than a bachelor's, should preference, right? And just kind of looking into more of how can we use that to get the 100K sphere, or for some people who can't break it into middle class, just hitting a good 65, 70K, something livable in most cities, in most states. Maybe not California, maybe not New York, barely Chicago, barely Chicago. In some places in Chicago, we can hit 70K and actually just live off that. But inflation and everything kind of makes you wonder what the heck are we doing in our lives. But kind of the reason why I was just thinking about doing a master's degree, right, is that one of my friends from college, she graduated, she has a job, yay. She was thinking about doing a master's degree even after getting the job, right? She was thinking about, because she did the 4 years with me, she has a degree in my major, but she also has a minor on top of that she did with the major. So she minored and majored at the same time, which is pretty cool, give it up for her. But she was just thinking about going a master's degree, and it was going to be within her same major, right? She is mechanical as well, but she wanted to go a little bit more in depth with it, maybe do a bachelor's MBA, maybe go into a little more specific information of tech, really, like maybe construction engineering or manufacturing engineering or environmental engineering, right? Because the company that she's going for, the job she had applied to get the current one that she has, were all in this sphere of what she got. And yes, she got the job, right? She's making a moolah, as we all love, and she has the rite of passage to continue with this job, build up her skills, go to a different job, and kind of just like bounce around however way she can, because unlike a lot of people in this country, she is no longer in that group of unemployment, looking for a job, having to remake your resume 2,000 times before you can get that single application reply from McDonald's, right? But still, she is thinking of going back to school one day, hopefully on the pay of her company, hopefully, and doing another master, well, not another master's, but going back to school really. And she asked me a few weeks ago, do I want to do a master's as well? And I have thought about this question during my time in school and kind of my time outside of school into now. And my answer has never really changed from then and now. It has made me question more of why I chose to not do a master's. 'Cause let me tell you, when I was in school, you were not thinking about staying in school for longer unless you just did not want to go do a 9 to 5. You did not want to work. You wanted to, like, keep pushing it away until you truly, truly, truly know what you want to do. This was mainly for people who were changing majors, who just didn't want to leave their parents and thought getting a job but push that, or just people who just love school a lot. And I did not fit any of those categories. I liked school, I liked it, I didn't love it, not enough to go back for a year or two, right? So school came and went, and I was really happy with my choice to just stay in my own little bubble of getting a job. And luckily, I got a job right after college, so I didn't really see a reason for me to actually go one more year for two reasons, actually. I had two reasons. One, I did not know what to major in, right? I could be mechanical engineering and a master's, but like, what good would that do? I'm not even mechanical now. I'm a whole consultant. Which, doesn't do anything to hurt me personally. I love my job. But even knowing all this, what job would I go for if I went to be a mechanical? And yes, I've looked into like the jobs. I know what's out there. I don't want to be robotics. AI really wasn't that popping when I was there. I mean, it popped senior year, but I'm not software, so I don't care too much about trying to work with that. And I don't really care for construction, civil, like anything that has to do with anything in the building field. Like, I don't care for HVAC. A lot of things are being crossed off the list. I just didn't know if I wanted to go to school for those reasons. And the second reason was I already had a job, and I always was not told, but it always seemed like if you were going for a higher education, whether that's master's, PhD, or whatever, in the equivalent, or MBA, you're doing it to get a better job, higher pay, the things you will actually go for. Like, you're going to school for a job or because you love learning, which can go for a job too, whatever. But to me, I already had a job and it was paying well, and I love it. And I didn't even need my major for real, but I love my major. If you watch my last video, I love my major. But with my friend, she's the same as me. But throughout this entire time, she has thought about going back to school for a master's. And I always questioned her, like, do you still feel that way? Because she thought this way in college too, but chose against it because 2 more years of school after you just finish, doing so much. It's called a gap year for a reason, Maybe let's not do that. But I asked her, do you still feel this way within the tech layoff sphere? Because she is tech, right? Mechanical is tech, no matter what anyone says. But do you still feel this way to actually go and look for a job or look for a master's degree and think you're going to get a lot more money or better experience because you have it? Because of course there are people who have just a random major and then assume their job will come to them because they have it. But then there are a lot more of those who chose the right majors, quote unquote, the right schools, quote unquote, the right resumes, quote unquote, right cover letters, quote unquote, everything under the sun, and they still can't get a call back, or they're being scammed by bad jobs, or they're being ghosted by those who just care about having a number for the next budget. I don't know, quarter year, I don't know, business talk, whatever. The reason why, do you see yourself actually still getting a master's degree when you were already like struggling for a while to get a job? Because it did take her a few months to get a job. And then when she got it, she was really happy, but she still talked about master's degree. And I was like, well, why? And she told me a few reasons where I thought about it, but I never truly looked down at myself and wondered if I thought of this opportunity for myself in college, would my mindset be different now? Because my mindset has always been no to masters. So I stuck with that mindset. But her mindset was, if I can get my job to pay for it, I would do it. I like my major. I want to do something more extraordinary in my major, studying a master's. I want more pay for my job compared to the entry level one I have. And the last one was, I want to be a manager in my job in the next few years that could potentially support my family if I choose to have one in a few years. Now, those might seem very all over the place, very broad spectrum, very whatever. But to her, it was very clear as that these are the reasons why she was choosing to do a master's program and why she even thought about the possibility of going back to school for the next 2 years, which not many people can say, I'll go back to school for a master's in this economy. Like, a lot of people just be like, if I can get a job with the major I have, the degree I got, the skills I have, like, all the 5-9 and get somewhere, why would I go for a master's? I can do anything else. But of her, it's very cut and dry, and I can kind of tell, like, from what she says, I'm realizing I'm a lot more comfortable in my choice to not do a master's degree. And that's really because, like I said before, I already said no to a master's in college, and I love my major, right? I could have thought about doing a master's. Like, everyone I knew has either thought of doing a master's or have done a master's. So I was definitely surrounded by people who had the time of day to go after what they wanted, and I could have looked at them and been like, role model, haha, look at that, I'm gonna follow in your footsteps, I think, and just gone for it. But I chose not to because I decided for myself, like, I think I know enough, and if I need to know more, I'll learn it on a job, I'll learn it outside of school, I'll learn through a club, I'll learn through internships. I don't need to go back to school for more theoretical, for more equation-based work that isn't so much practical in the real world of today's age, and more of like 20 years ago whenever these books were printed out, right? And next thing she said was, my job can pay for it. And I thought to myself, oh, that's great, wonderful. That was always one of the biggest things, is how you're going to pay for a school. Do you want to go back to a master's? No. Why? Because it costs so much. Oh, it makes sense. If it was online, would you do it because it's cheaper? Maybe. I'm not sure if I'm good at online school. All the questions. But for me, my company potentially can also pay for my master's, right? So that wouldn't be a barrier I would follow. But that also wasn't something I thought about when I was thinking about master's program, because if my company didn't pay for it, I wouldn't think of it as a barrier. I would have found a scholarship to go for it. So I don't think that would have been the biggest problem. Would I want to look for a scholarship to go back to school? No. I would want to be fully paid for me. But at this time and age, you do what you gotta do, because everything is, a struggle. Everything is, you gotta work hard for what you get. So makes sense. The next thing she said that was a major thing for me is family. You want the money, the moolah. You need something to support yourself in your upcoming family one year, and maybe you want to retire early. I don't know what she wanted to do, but these are all the things she kind of told me, and I was thinking to myself, what I want? Like, I feel like my company gives me good enough resources so that I can succeed in the term I'm here, and then if I need to switch jobs, I will feel like I have enough experience to be able to tell another job why they should hire me and still get paid more for my skill transfer, right? So I don't know if a master's for me would have made sense, because of all the things that a master's can do for me, with just a bunch of learning, a bunch of more labs, quizzes, tests, and maybe a little more interactions with professors who've been here longer, whatever, I can get all of those in a job and get paid for it, right? So yes, while I understand the whole appeal of making more money with a master's degree, while you don't have a job, right? If you don't have a job and you think a master's degree could be your step to gain a job, obviously, right? It's almost a no-brainer unless you can afford it, which is like a whole nother hurdle to cross. But I feel like because I have a job, because I have the opportunity to grow and learn and talk to too many people to count on 2 hands and 2 feet, I definitely do not see myself going for a master's degree now, right? I couldn't tell you if I'm going for a master's degree in 5 years from now. Maybe I switch my mind. Maybe I tell myself MBA isn't so bad. But like right now, in this day and age where people are struggling to get a good job or get a job, or they want to switch and they just cannot switch in this environment, it is very hard for people to look at these conversations and think to myself, you know what I'm going to go back to do? Get more loans, get more student debt, go back to a school that may or may not be a scam, and tell them I want to do a great major, for them to lie to me and tell me how great their job retention percentage are. It's just a lot. It's just a lot, right? Like, I would trust a boot camp more. If they had it, I would trust a boot camp more. Because, like, what is the point doing something for 2 years? You can get a boot camp, you can get certification, you can go job shadow someone, unfortunately for free in some cases, in most cases, if I'm being for real. You can go do content creation and learn as much as you can about your experience or about what you're doing, and just record yourself doing that. And in some cases, some people have actually found opportunities because that was their way of networking. Not everyone can go out on LinkedIn, you know, type the CEO of Google and tell him, hey, can't get, like, I don't know, like, can you get a referral? I don't know what you would tell a CEO of Google if you needed help learning something. I'm not sure. But all this to say, like, not everyone's very good with communication skills. It's not because our schools didn't teach us or because social media has rotted our brains. I mean, yeah, partly that one. That one is true. But it's really just because no one's willing to be the bigger person and say, if you need help, let me know. Right? If you need my assistance, let me know. Everyone is talking about, hey, come over here. Like, you could have asked someone for help. You could have emailed your recruiter for extra help. You could have emailed your interviewer for questions. But it's like, they didn't let me know they were going to be free. I thought they were going to be busy. Things that makes you already anxious to do is not exasperated because people were saying, you could have done this, you could have done that, you could have done this. And it's like, I didn't know they were free. I thought they were busy. They might, reject me faster. They never told me they were going to be helpful. And there's just too much things that could be fixed before we go back to school and tell ourselves another 2 year of education with no training, with no internships, with no actual experience will do better than the kid who spent 4 years, had enough time for internships, had made great connections with higher ups, managers, vice president of their internship, of companies, of clubs, of any events they went to, and they came out with like a resume, 3 referrals, 2 recommendations, a beautiful cover letter, and they just sent it all to one company. Like, I don't know if there needs to be a conversation change, because personally, master's degrees, they're great, they're wonderful, they're beautiful, but they do not hold the same weight as they did back then. Back then being 20 years ago. I'm only 23, so I'm not even sure when they held power. I guess before the pandemic. A lot of things had power before the pandemic, but having a master's was definitely one of them. And with everything going on now, I wouldn't even say a master's degree is that popular anymore, especially if your job does not need it. If your job doesn't need it, don't go for it, right? A lot of jobs need it. Great, perfect. Go do that. But if your job doesn't need it, or you assume your job needs it, and then you look online and you're looking at like 18-year-olds applying for a job they couldn't possibly have masters for, yeah, I definitely think the conversation does need to change just a little bit, and not just the tech sphere, in every sphere, because people put more focus on education, as they should, obviously, but they focus everything on what the teachers should be doing for them, and not so much on how they are doing it and how they are presenting information to students in not a practical way, but in just a way that makes them think, oh, I'm doing my job. I just told a bunch of words. They heard it. Now it's time for them to apply it. And it's like, no. Come back here. Come back. You're supposed to help them apply it. If they're not applying it correctly, that's on you, because you're the professor and these are your words they're absorbing. So if they can apply it, you cannot look at anyone else but yourself in the same way you can't look at anyone else when the kid is failing a test. You can't be like, oh, the kid sucks. No, your way of teaching is not helping. Too many students are not passing your class. In the same breath, too many students cannot get the job in the major that you're teaching them in, because you're not telling them the truth about how they should be applying this into looking for a job. And someone needs to pick up the slack. I don't know who, I don't know how, I don't know when this will happen, but the internet is free for now. People should maybe find better ways to, like, maybe no longer fix a resume, but everyone's favorite hated word, network with each other. Find ways to, like, really get the ground running for a lot of information that we will need to get to the next job, the next career of our lives, to be able to support ourselves for the next 10, 20, 30 years, or whatever you feel like retiring, to be honest, and no longer rely so much on go back to school for like 20 years to get like this, 60K job, like school does not hold the same weight as it once did. And yeah, many more kids who don't go to school might need to go back to the schools, right? But I don't think we should have a lot of emphasis as this is the only way forward, when the way forward is still paved with broken glass and shard rocks everywhere. In the end of the road, it's just a cliff hanging because no one decided to put a bridge to connect it to the job that you need to live your rest of your life. So all that to say, I'm not doing a master's. I don't know when, I don't know if, I don't know what I'm doing that, but in the next 5 years, if I'm hopefully still doing this podcast, imagine the YouTube channel, right? I will let you know, and I'll tell you, oh my god, guess what I'm doing? Oh my god, guess what I'm not doing, right? Hopefully I am still around. I don't know. You never know the future these days. 5 years is too long. I don't know what I did 5 years ago, so maybe we should stop asking those questions. 5 years from now is 5 year questions are so stupid. But yeah, that was just my thoughts, my sleepy thoughts, because I'm tired. Taking a nap after this, but if you're still here and you're still listening to me, let me know in the comment section if you got a master's and why. If you need a master's, if you chose to do a master's and no one told you to do it, tell me why, when, and if it was worth it. Because for some people, it is the best thing they've done, and for other people, they just have a bunch of paper collecting dust in their basement. So let me know in the comment section. I would love to know more, and we will find another thought I will find from work next week, and we'll see what my tired brain thinks of then. This was fun. I've talked for like 20 minutes. We'll see. I gotta cut this down, so we'll see. But yeah, this is great. I love it. Upping the shirt once again. Happy back to school week for whoever is sorry enough to not be graduated yet. So yeah, but this is Miracle, and I'm signing off. Hope to see you next week on Population Me. Bye.